Zika Zika Z.
Join me in my gumbo of entertainment. I'm Zaina Juliette.
The emotional abuse around things being filed in a court system that are untrue is the most difficult thing for me. I would Sheena here.
Bert always calls me the chosen one. Like,
wow.
Do you think I could be chosen for something else?
Wow.
You know, which is great, but at least I have the ability to speak to the practice, right?
Yes.
I have the ability to express myself so people can understand.
Right.
I have the ability to stand up and say, this is domestic violence, I'm done with it.
And you speaking for so many women.
Absolutely.
And men,
Absolutely.
for that matter.
Yes.
There's so many who don't have the opportunity and don't have the know-how to come forward. And some of them are so distraught and destroyed, they've just given up. But you can bring hope. You can just bring the light and the hope.
A lot of women lost it by now.
Oh, I know.
I just wasn't able to properly express myself regarding my company because all I can think about is I'm just consumed by missing my children.
The Sheena Pesanti story is set to be released this year, and we are honored to give you an exclusive look at this meaningful project that's already generating buzz. So stay with us as we take you behind the scenes of this remarkable documentary by speaking with Miss Sheena Pesanti. We'll be right back right after this. It's me, Zaina Juliette, and my concert opera is coming soon to the Las Vegas Strip. For more information and show dates, visit zainajuliette.tv.
So Sheena's case really touched my heart, not just because I'm a mom myself, but because I see this struggle in society in general. And at some point in your career as a lawyer, you see a case that really accentuates what's wrong with the system. There's many, many cases that you go through as a lawyer where you don't notice the unfairness, you don't notice the unbalance as much, but every now and then you see a case that really demonstrates how unfair the system can be, how people can abuse the system. And that's what really struck me about Sheena's case and motivated me to represent her, to continue to advocate for improvements in the system, because I don't think that any parent should be completely alienated from their children, even under the most difficult circumstances. There are ways to ensure that parents can stay involved in their children's lives, and there are ways that the court can facilitate that instead of hinder that. And when I see situations like Sheena's, it really makes me think that there are huge improvements that need to be made. No system is perfect. I get that as a lawyer more than anything else, but I also am an eternal optimist that we can always do better, that there's always room for improvement, that the reason that these systems exist is because we want there to be reunification. We want both parents to be involved, and I just don't see that in this case, and I don't see any legitimate basis for that being denied to her.
Girls, if you was a warrior, stand up. If you was a warrior, stand strong. If you was a warrior, gotta do what's right, girls. Gotta make a better world.
Sheena here.
You know what, Sheena? Why don't we talk about, I just let the audience know a little bit about how this all came about, like how it started.
Absolutely.
I mean, who is?
Well, Sheena Pesanti is a mother, is a God lover, is an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
A little gal that grew up in the state of Montana that had big dreams.
Yes.
And I had some difficulties with relationships. I ended up marrying twice.
Yes.
My second husband, an attorney, I put him through law school. And, you know, my value increased as I became more successful in the home health and hospice industry. And I bought more agencies as I moved along in the business, which, I mean, by and large, it was always a difficult relationship. I became an easy target for a lot of corruption and legal abuse, which is domestic violence.
Wow. And so let's back up. See, she's an entrepreneur, right? And what's fascinating about Sheena is she's brilliant. And she's started companies from scratch, and everything that she put in, all of her companies and businesses that she launched were extremely successful. And then now you tell me that with your success, and you've always been successful, and you've been an entrepreneur, you know, then you put this guy, your ex, through law school.
Absolutely.
With some of your success, of course.
Well, you know, he obviously, you know, took the LSAT and got himself into school. However, I helped to support our family, the kids, small children, and tried to maintain some type of relationship.
Right.
You know, as he was 120 miles away from myself and the kids. And so it was incredibly difficult to maintain a healthy relationship, you know, based on just the distance.
Yes. And you have your relationship, the kids, and then you have, you know, your businesses, and you're doing all that.
Yes, absolutely. And I, you know, definitely I'm a multitasker. I believe that God has given me some intelligence to build companies related to community and people, which is my heart is for people. And so having this happen to me in a community that I was not known in this community. I wasn't from this city. I just happened to buy some companies in this community that were going out of business. You know, if these companies would have shut their doors, then it would have caused so many issues for the community and the aging population. So I came in and I that's how I ended up in this community, Missoula, Montana, which is also where my ex-husband went to law school, along with all the other people in the court system. They also attended the University of Montana. Mm-hmm.
You do beautiful work, and you're doing work to help people. And that's one of the things that impressed me with her is when we met, your heart is so big, and people matter more than things.
Yes,
you know, and it's
absolutely.
Like, wow. And then and then I see your documentary, which was very well shot.
Thank you.
And it baffles my mind how cold people can be and how you were treated. And this is why I know this is going to be so successful, because I think you're going to make some changes. Well, you're shining a light on something that a lot of people don't know is going on in the family court system.
Montana, with all its natural beauty, boasts one of the lowest divorce rates in the U.S. But what if you found yourself in that minority? You'd see the uglier side, and the sense of isolation would be overwhelming.
I've experienced some very difficult and trying times.
Imagine a court ruling that permanently strips away your right to play an active role in the lives of those you hold most dear, your children.
I'm connected to my children regardless of time or space. And so it's an incredible, overwhelming feeling of grief. And I seem like, oh yeah, I can do this, and I'm tough and I'm strong and all of these things. But 3 years of this, I cried every single day. And sometimes I still do. I just do it in the bathtub. You know, it just becomes more of a routine and ritual, because emotionally, when a mother loves their children, it's just hard to be away from them.
Confront the heartache of enduring a legal system that seems to be rigged against you, where the odds are overwhelming and hope feels like a distant dream.
The whole time I was questioning myself and started having these identity issues and my sanity and who I was. And I mean, you take somebody who is a wonderful mother and a loving person who created beautiful, holistic hospice agencies to help people die and do all these things. And I was literally the weakest person.
Put yourself in Sheena's shoes. Would you succumb to despair? Would you let your inner demons take control?
I was very lost, and I spent a lot of time with myself to create my identity outside of being a mom. Me and God spent a lot of time doing a lot of internal work, just healing myself.
In this powerful documentary, we follow one woman's intense battle against systemic injustice as she fights to reclaim her place in her children's lives.
Well, from a technical standpoint, I couldn't help but try to reorganize the way these services were, and lack thereof services being provided, because not even one time was this about my children. Yes. Or my visitation or custody with my children. It was about my behaviors that he had documented, whether it was accurate or not, and it was about the money and the properties and how much money I had and this new vehicle and that. I mean, it had nothing to do with my children in the courts and creating continuity between myself and my ex-husband and the kids, because, you know, although people get divorced, children are primarily, you know, I never wanted them to feel the fallout from this court action. And all I could see was emotional distress with the kids. Not only that, with me. And I'm paying so much money, thank God, thank you God, that I had the financial ability to continue to battle the court system. I went through 7 attorneys. I was firing attorneys left and right. I had one attorney tell me, hey, Sheena, if the judge tells you to stand on the mountaintop naked and parent, then that's what you need to do. And I said, I cannot believe that this is happening to me. I absolutely thought I was losing my mind. Originally, I did self-medicate with alcohol. There's no hiding that part of it. I received treatment for alcohol abuse. However, that's the only thing that they had related to withholding. It wasn't alcohol abuse with my children, DUI with kids, none of that. And so there's a lot of confusion around, you know, really the whole legal system is guilty until proven innocent, and it's wrong.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Especially related to kids. If I could, I would pull the whole process out of the courts. It does not belong in the courts. It doesn't. It's psychological. It doesn't fit.
Yes. And when I watched the documentary, I saw your attorney. My God, she's amazing.
She's an incredible woman.
She is amazing. What she said was how it's so easy for someone to go into this court and create a lie, fabricate a story.
Oh, absolutely.
That they don't fact check, or they don't look into, they don't investigate, and just go with the story, and it's a lie.
They don't care because it's all about money. That's the other thing. It's the whole process is all about who's where the money is going. I could never really track the money,
Yes.
right? So that was the other thing. It was so hard. Not only that, I had so I had clinicians involved that were doing some work with my kids and myself, and they were less than qualified to actually facilitate any type of therapy or therapeutic environment with my kids and myself. And so from my background and training being a clinical advisor, I mean, I was the boss of the doctors and the nurses and the social workers and all of the people. It was so hard for me because I couldn't play the game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's the other thing. Not only that, I would have supervised reunification therapy with my children, and this therapist knew that I was sober, that I was responsible, that I was reliable. But in the court system, nobody is going to say, they're not going to take the liability of saying she's a great mom because they're fearful that something could potentially happen. So the courts kind of play all these different games with all these different disciplines. There's no accountability, there's no coordination, and there's no positive outcomes for the kids. And that's what makes me crazy. I mean, it's just the time that I've missed with my children.
Yes.
My little girl and I wrote a song last year.
And I hear that song is going to be the main song on the soundtrack of your new documentary.
Absolutely. It's going to be a #1 hit because it's all about a mother and her love and her child suffering.
Yes.
Originally, there were some lyrics in the song. We had to redo it a few times, but my little girl called it Break Free. She wanted the freedom to have a relationship with her mother.
And she's a good writer.
Absolutely. Oh, she's
talented.
So
talented like
she's
her
a talented little girl. She's my egg.
Gentlemen, Sheena Pesanti, Purpose and Pain, and this song is called A Mother's Love. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Let's go.
Now that you know exactly how you want to sing it, unless it's perfect the way you did it already.
Sure.
So just give you an idea how we're going to do it.
Yeah, no, however I can do it the best.
I searched the world all over and beyond the seas to find myself and what's inside of me. For so many years I was forced to wait, but I learned to love myself and not to be afraid. I searched the world all over. I searched the world all over and beyond the seas.
That was better. Oh, where'd that go?
Was that better?
That was better. That's why I don't know if you saw me shaking my head. I was like, yeah, that was better. So thank you.
That vibrato that she has on Seas, she needs on World. I like that Beyond the Seas.
Did you hear that? What? The vibrato that you had on the Beyond the Seas, put that on World as well. Okay.
Let's keep that Beyond the Seas though. That was.
Ladies and gentlemen, LT.
You were so incredible.
Thank you.
In this documentary. I mean, you really, really tied it all together. It just was phenomenal. And
you know, the great part about it is because it's not just my experience saying, this is wrong.
yes.
You know, I wasn't just a mother that was just like, the great part about it is I'm like, okay, like I did this. I did everything that the court asked me to do.
Yes.
I followed all of their stupid games.
Yes.
Right? Even though I didn't like it, but it was all about seeing my kids. I didn't care. I didn't care if I had to go to a welcome house where all of the people that are chemically dependent that do heroin and crack and whatever else, and that's the only way they can see their kids. And if I had to go and see my kids there, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours once a week.
Right on.
Right?
Yes.
Because it was for the kids. It was like, there's nothing off limits here.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then I went through my whole divorce with LT. She read it. She's like, this is crazy.
Yes. You really made
I mean, you're gonna make people. When people watch, it, they're gonna realize, okay,
they're gonna love you. They're gonna be like, can we call her?
Yes,
she's the best.
Please do call me.
Yes. No, she does it. She does a great
Tell
job.
us about, what you think of all this.
Well, I think it's incredibly unfair to a wonderful mom, and I was really touched by her story the first time I met Sheena, and she came into my office and explained to me what was happening. I thought, what you're telling me can't be true. Because what you're telling me just doesn't make sense to me. You must be leaving something out. And I investigated. I went to the court record. I looked at the entire docket. I read all the filings. I even spoke to her attorney who was representing her at the time a couple of times. He's not her current family law attorney, thankfully. And it was all true. And I was shocked that it was all true because it didn't make sense to me. As a lawyer, you think when something doesn't make sense, it's because someone's not telling you. There's something missing in the story. But in her situation, it wasn't something that was missing in the story. It actually was something that just doesn't make common sense. And just to give you an example, we're sitting here now in December 2024. In July 2024, the family court had a hearing about whether she should be able to see her children again. Something that should be a very easy answer. A very easy answer. In July of 2024, we're sitting here in December of 2024. The judge has still not made a decision about whether she can see her children.
No response from the courts. That's
No
the other thing.
decision whatsoever.
There's nothing.
It's baffling to me.
They don't care. They don't care.
Montana.
Montana.
Yes.
Montana.
Do you find this? Is this a thing? Maybe a little more in Montana than other places. Is this?
I haven't seen it anywhere else, and I just have to say fundamentally, you have a right, not just in this country, but just as a human being, to parent your children, to be in your children's lives. And that is why courts take it so seriously to take a parent out of a child's life, because it's your human right to be part of this family. She birthed these children. To think that she should be in any way alienated from them
It's still baffling to me.
It is.
You never know what the judge is ever going to determine. The decision to revoke my parenting was done illegally in the court system, so it's a systematic issue, and it's also a abusive process issue.
Her journey is not just about confronting legal inequities, but also about a profound voyage of self-discovery and unyielding resilience.
I felt so isolated and abused in the process because I couldn't properly defend myself. The court system doesn't even know who you are. So I was really bogged down by paperwork. We talk about 240 motions, which, Trump only had 190. Being the breadwinner, $1 million settlement from a property settlement standpoint is a lot for a woman to provide. And I just felt like I've been completely taken advantage of in the legal system.
Well, I just wasn't able to properly express myself regarding my company because all I can think about is I'm just consumed by missing my children.
It's like stepping into a ring with a professional boxer with no boxing experience, so you know that you're going to lose the fight before you start the battle. This has been by far one of the most difficult paths and walks I've ever taken in my life.
It's a heart-wrenching yet inspiring story of how love and forgiveness can help one reclaim their life.
When we walk through painful times, there's always lessons that are learned from these painful times. However, we don't know, as we're walking through. Each day is such a gift that we're given, and miracles do happen and things change, and there's definitely purpose in pain.
Purpose in Pain, the Sheena Pesanti story. Coming soon.
Sheena's story is both devastating and inspirational. But let's discuss those who bring it to the screen, who magnify her story. Let's discuss the producers really quick. I want you to know who they are and some of the projects that they have produced. Their latest film, Replicator, was just released on video on demand. I suggest you go and check it out. It is a cosmic horror feature that Mark Hammer directed and co-wrote. It stars Atlanta-based actors Caitlin Newberry and Bree Noel. So take a look at some of the movie titles that Crash Cat Media have produced. Crash Cat Media Group is a motion picture development and production company that collaborates with fellow filmmakers, distributors, streamers, and investors to facilitate the process of creating and bringing relevant and dynamic entertainment content to the market. In other words, their motto is, make cool stuff with cool people. It's really that simple. You can learn more about their impressive body of work at crashcatmedia.com.
I hope that you enjoyed just a few clips of my documentary, which will be out in a couple of months, and really my journey, my healing journey. And you know, I'm still going through this process of corruption and custody within the family courts in the state of Montana. So we're trying to shine some light on the abusive tactics that attorneys and judges use.
Yeah, I think, Sheena, what you did in documenting it, like even on social media, you've gained so many followers. And just by doing that, you've brought attention to it. And then something wonderful came out of it. You met someone that you and I both know, Mr. Bert Tabor. He contacted you through this, and
yeah, absolutely. One of my biggest cheerleaders, of course, Mr. Hollywood Bert Tabor, who has so many contacts in our country, and I love him so very much. You know, social media was part of my healing process, especially TikTok. And it really gave me a place where I could share my story with others, not only just getting positive feedback, but people actually liked me on camera. So it was so funny. So I sing and I play the piano. So, you know, there's all these things related to this journey and experience. And it's been very painful in the documentary. It's called Purpose and Pain. However, there's been so much goodness that God has shown me and has actually put around me, the people that have surrounded me to help me, my dear friend Z.
Girl, if you was a warrior, stand up. If you was a warrior, stand strong. If you was a warrior, gotta do what's right, girls. Gotta make a better world. Girl, if you was a
Join me February 15th as I make a guest appearance and performance on the hottest show in the world, Gladius the Show. Visit gladiustheshow.net for reservations. The price is donation.
Ooh, that's so much fun.